All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. I'd also like to give double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do well. And I would like to say peace, safety, and salutations to the Lord's beloved elect, to the hopeful elect in the 1/3. And Adawan Ratazah, this lesson will be edifying as well as exhorting. And the Wada Yahweh Bashem El Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash, forgive me the inspiration to do this lesson. And pretty much I want to go into this new form of identification that is rolling out throughout the world right now. Okay, as you know, it's called a digital ID. And what you have to realize is I got a few screenshots I want to share with you. But pretty much what you got to realize is with this digital ID is the digital ID is going to be used as a acceptable federal form of an identification for you to receive benefits or basically be on the grid with the system with this standing government. And then what you have to realize as well is that the mark of the beast, okay, is what's going to be used to prove that you are you, to have that digital ID to be on the grid. Okay, you have to understand that. You have to understand why there's a ID that is now rolling out in many countries digitally. And then you have to realize within that, how are they going to make sure you are you for the digital ID? And that's going to be through biometrics and pertaining to prophecy, specifically the mark of the beast. Okay, so I want to go into a couple of these. I got a few screenshots. I got some downtime. I was going to go live to do this, but I wasn't able to get the same screenshots that I did on my phone through chat, then trying to do it on my laptop. So let's see what we can get for edification's sake. This is Job. Matter of fact, let's go to Job 20. This is Job 20. You know what? I'm sorry. Let's get Rev 12 and 12 first. Let's go to Revelations 12 and 12. Okay, you have to understand that there is an agenda that's taking place right now. And this is why it's going to be called an hour of temptation. Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea. See, so these people are getting ready to feel a squeeze that they have never felt before. And they are forcing a old way of living into a new technological world of advancement. All right. And you see that even with the elderly now trying to keep up with the tech and the Snapchat and the cell phones and the palm payments. You know, a lot of people right now are not even ready for this shift. OK, but he is going to force the world through prophecy. All right. It's prophecy. But Edom is going to force the world into a transition to a digital empire. All right. And the whole plot and ploy and plan to get people onto this new digital grid is through fear mongering. OK, through scams, through frauds, through human error. OK, basically, he's causing things to happen or get affected so that he now brings this solution that you look like is bulletproof. Okay, but what you don't realize is he's causing you to have a digital ID for the same services that you've already been getting. But then what he's also going to do is, how is he going to know you are you that is using that digital ID? So he's forcing you to have a digital ID, have an identity on a digital access. But then the mark is what's going to solidify to this digital ID that you are you. So this is all a big plan. It's a big ploy. They're allowing certain things to take place so that they can cause this solution to come in a form of help and aid. But remember, the mercies of the wicked is cruel. And ultimately, it's for prophecy's sake. Okay. And we've told you what are there going to be the scenarios? What are going to be the scenarios that causes them to roll this out, to cause both small and great, rich and poor, okay, free and bond, It says, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So this is why things are ramping up very quickly throughout the earth pertaining to prophecy. Okay, so it's full steam ahead. So I'm going to kind of fly through this. You can take your screenshots as we go along. But real quick, I asked ChatGPT, I said, why would the government consider a digital ID for Snap? That was my first question. Okay, and immediately it said because of problems they already identified. Deceased individuals getting benefits, identity fraud, incomplete paperwork, 10 plus billion per year in improper paper. So right now, because of human error, he is now saying this is what we can use to fix the errors that have been taking place so that we can all collectively move together in a smooth functioning society. And they, meaning them, they are going to say, we deem that this technology, this infrastructure, this digital identity will be a sure proof plan of success. But it's a trap. Remember, he's a cunning hunter. Okay, now look, let's keep going. Like I said, screenshot it. I'm just going to try to fly through this. And I asked, how many countries are causing digital ID for access to online? It says the EU, remember, NATO EU, mark of the beast. Canada, Australia, mark of the beast. And others are moving towards digital identity wallets, online verifications. And then I went further and found out that recently Australia made it illegal for 15 and under to not be allowed to go on social media, but 16 and older can now go on social media. But guess what? They have to have a digital ID for verification to air quote prove that they themselves are above age. So he kicked off 15 and younger and made the general public look like, yeah, that's a good thing. We need to protect the children. But he did that as a ploy or a Trojan horse to now make everyone 16 and older be forced to have a digital ID for access to the internet. This is a cunning hunter, man. Okay? It's a cunning hunter. Now, let me see what else I got for you. Most realistic pathway where this could happen. What would be the most realistic pathway that an ID, okay, to access the internet, which is going into what? The famine of the word. Because the digital ID is not the mark of the beast. The digital ID is basically your new social security card. It's going to be your new social credit number. It's going to be what proves you are you when you're online, when you're buying food, when you're accessing certain websites or logins. But what you have to understand is, what is he going to use to make you prove you're you for the digital ID? It's going to be the MOTB. Okay, watch. So look, it says the government wouldn't the government wouldn't say you must have a digital ID to use the internet. Instead, it would slowly roll out digital ID to access government service, digital ID to receive benefits, SNAP, Medicaid, housing, digital ID for banks to prevent fraud, digital ID to verify age online. Platforms start requiring it to comply with law. Eventually, it becomes necessary to access most of the internet. See? So you're seeing how the famine of the word's going to play out. You're seeing how you'll slowly get phased out while he's phasing in. All right. And ultimately, the Lord is going to disrupt this, but it's going to be after the mandatory marking. OK, the digital ID is not the mark of the beast. The digital ID is a infrastructure. It's a key to the system for the MOTB to function on. This is Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. But the point is that they have an enterprise that they're going to be allowed to perform. But he's only going to get so far. What you need to realize is the scenarios that are playing out now that are allowing this prophecy to take place. So call all y'all Bashim El Shai. You should be happy that the UK said that you need a digital ID to work. You should be happy. So this is another screenshot. You could take it if you want. All right. It was what I was speaking about. But now the government issued people in Australia 16 and older, they have to have a digital ID or biometric facial age estimation technology. See? So these biometric ways of identification to allow you to be solidified as your identity digital is being given certain options, but we know through prophecy the ultimate way will be through the MOTB. Okay, that's what makes prophecy. Now, let's see how it could link to a digital ID. Let me see right here. Let's go back into this. Let me see. Oops. What did I do here? Let me see. How do I get back to this? Dang, you get to look. See, I don't even know. There we go. Thank you, Yahweh Shemel Shai. So I don't really want to go to this one yet. Oh, okay. I asked how would they link the RFID. Okay, so I got to put my, I don't got my screenshots in order. Okay, so I got to remember what I also asked. That's why I was taking screenshots. So I said, how could you link the R to the F to the I to the D to the Digi ID? And it says, so this is what the digital ID is going to play. It's going to be a way to verify who you are, that the ID is linked to you, that the ID is not stolen. So what is the Mark of the Beast going to do? The Mark of the Beast can do all three, okay? It says, since it is in you, okay, he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their hand. It says the C-hip becomes tied to you, your fingerprint, your face. It says your face. Let me see. What else it say? Your biometric identity, your physical presence. See? This is how he's going to link the two. He has to link the two for it to work because he's got to link you physically to this new digital system. And the way how he's going to physically link you to the digital system is going to be through a biometric identification that will be within you. Okay? It says the C-hip doesn't store your information. It points to a database profile that contains your legal identity, your digital wallet, your medical records, your government benefits, your travel status, your employment, your driver's license, etc. This database is what makes the Mark of the Beast a digital ID authenticator. Excuse me. Okay, so he's going to give you the ID first, but what are they going to be doing to prove you are you for this digital ID? It's just like with a license. Someone that looks like you can now use your license. So what is he going to do to cause it that he knows you are you? It's going to be put within you. All right, now there's one in particular that I want to show you. Like I say, you could pause them, look them up. But let me see, there's a really good one in here. That was good. Okay, check this out. So I asked specifically about the MOTB plus the Digi ID. It says the Mark of the Beast don't hold your Digi ID. They authenticate it. See? This proves that the Digi ID is not the MOTB, but the Digi ID is the key to the digital infrastructure that your MOTB will give you access to because now you're proving who you are. All right. It says your real identity is stored in a government or corporate database. The mark simply proves this person is who they claim to be. The Digi ID plus the MOTB equals a permanent, scannable, body linked verification system for identity, banking, healthcare, government services, employment, travel, internet access, everyday life. The technology exists right now and early versions are already being used in some countries. This is why when the MOTB is made mandatory, people are going to give into it because the societal level, there will be no other way to function, to go to school, to get a vehicle, register your vehicle, buy food, register to vote, travel, live, housing, home, leasing, mortgage, okay? Everything that you know, all right, is now changing digitally. And now there's going to be a new form of identification to access these services, but he's going to require you to have something put in you to prove you're you so that you can have an identity to access those services. Isn't that crazy? See that? Let me see what else I got. I got a lot in here, man. I got a whole bunch more information pertaining to why the digital ID will be pushed. So we know the digital ID is coming, okay, because the mark of the beast is coming. So now what we're finding out is what the scenario that they're going to use. So here's another thing too. What would be a scenario used to push digital ID more? You got cybercrime, fraud, ELF modifications or modernizations, the immigration situation, security issues. So you have a lot of things that are already playing out that can be used to usher this in on a societal level. But what's going to take place is a major squeeze is going to happen because the requirements to access all these benefits through the federal government, because you got to also understand it's the federal government, okay? It's federal. Now the federal government has showed its power. Do you know a state cannot function without federal funding? Do you know a state cannot function without federal funding? So do you know it was the federal government that forced states to change or to enforce laws for 21 and over to drink? Do you know that the federal government forced in 2005 the Real ID Act? So the federal government is what's going to force the mark of the beast, and the states are going to have to comply. And then you got certain states like Florida saying we're not going to do the digital ID. Well, guess what? Florida is going to be in a hurt locker pertaining to the people, the infrastructure, the schools, the ethical, the food programs, because the federal government is going to stop sending funds in. Poor states like Mississippi, I think Arkansas, if they deny this digital ID, it's going to be through for that city. And then you're going to have people leaving that city because they need to go to another city. And don't think that the princes and the kings of these states and cities are going to be catching hell too. They're a higher echelon than you. So it's the people that are going to suffer. See? Let me get this real quick, man. You got to really wrap your head around this. And Revelations 13 and 16, it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or foreheads. Why? Because that is your proof for your digital ID. See? Because look, it's across the board. Digital ID for SNAP, EBT, Medicare, Social Security, driver's license, TSA, tax filing, voting, immigration, digital border passes. All these can link to the same digital identity profile that in the government's database. See? So he's going to cut you off from society, and then you're going to be forced to take a mark to be reintroduced to society and have the benefits that come with it. See? Let me see what else I got for you. Okay, so let's go back now. All right, so you got to be able to put all this together. Okay, look at all this. Look at all this information. Okay, look at all this information. Now let's go back. So now you can see how. Let me say it again just for you to understand. So the digital ID is what he's going to use as like a digital social security card for you to be identified who you are. But what prophecy has let us know is with this digital ID, they're going to cause small and great to be forced to receive a mark so that now their digital ID is linked to that person. Okay? He needs to link you to this digital system, and it's going to happen through a mandatory mark. It says that no man might buy or sell. See? That no man might have banking, healthcare, government services, employment, travel, internet access, everyday life. Okay? Everyday life. See? It says, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And the digital ID is going into that. The digital ID is going all into that. So see how the digital ID plus the MOTB, what it equals? Okay, so we know the digital ID plus the right scenario equals the mark of the beast, because you cannot have this digital ID without having a proof of persons for this ID. That's why on your driver's license, they take a picture. That's a biometric way of proving you're you. They get your height, they get your eye color, they get your name. See? So all this has been set up, man. Okay, now let me get Job. I gotta wrap this up. Let me get Job. Okay. This is Job 20. All right, and he's gonna get to a certain height with this. This is why there's the hour of temptation. This is Job 20 and Job 20:19. It says, because he has oppressed and has forsaken the poor, because he has violently taken away a house which he buildeth not, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Therefore shall no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, in the fullness of him swinging this out, digital IDs rolled out. No access. You can't access certain things without the digital ID. So then what's going to happen is people, okay, are going to start resisting that. So you're going to have more uproars of the people. You're going to have a lot of people acting crazy, tripping out, bugging out. Okay, they're going to be fighting viva la resistance, coup d'etats. Okay, this is all a part of the plan, order out of chaos. Okay, so he's going to get infrastructure laid. He's going to get people involved. It makes sense why Elder Pastor always says it's going to be in classes. So you're going to see government officials, federal government officials, and then it's going to trickle down. Okay, it's going to trickle down. Because people right now are using digital IDs for certain government logins. All right. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked, this word wicked means laborer, shall come upon him. So people are going to attempt to fight, to resist, like you see people trying to do now in the UK with just the digital ID. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. So we need the mandatory mark, which will be in full swing. You will have the World War III going on. And then this is ultimately, through prophecy, is what's going to cause the nuclear destruction upon Babylon. After the mandatory mark, when he's about to fill his belly, when he is about to believe he's establishing a new order to rule in. Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon and the bow of steel shall strike him through. Okay, so that's going to be the judgment upon him. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, the silo. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. So this individual, this weak heathen individual, is only set up to play his part in the Lord's will. But what you have to understand is we are in the time of the Lord's will pertaining to this prophecy playing out. This is why you got to watch the scenarios that are taking place with the immigration, with the internet outages, with the frauds, with the snap. And notice how the federal government is now stepping in and dictating who gets what. And this is how you're going to see the digital ID and the MOTB get rolled out. Okay. And we're waiting for the MOTB, but you need the digital ID to be presented. And then the next stage will be, how are you going to prove that you are you for the digital ID? See? So very exciting times we're living in. A lot of things are happening. I truly pray that I explain that in an edifying manner for you to understand, for you to wrap your head around what's going on, why it's going on, and what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. I pray this lesson was edifying. I just want to say, call halal, abanawa Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to my elders, bishops, and apostles of Great Millstone that do group well. Peace, safety, and salutations to the Lord's elect. With that being said,